Tiffany Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode, this amazing call replay from 10K Anyway. This is the last call, and we're talking about bold marketing using Magicmind's Embodied Method. So in this episode, I talk to you about what the Embodied Method is, how we use it for both our marketing and our sales inside Magicmind, how you can use it to never run out of content or never figure out what should I say online, how do I connect with my clients. Once you have this method down, it becomes so easy to show up online, create your messaging, create compelling marketing. And it also becomes super easy. You never have to wonder what to say on sales calls or if someone is aligned in an aligned client or not, because you have this incredible, unique method that works specifically for your offer and for your clients. So before we dive in, I want to remind you that Magicmind enrollment is open this week only. So you can get your application in before Friday, September 1st, midnight. And I cannot wait to read all of the applications, invite you into this round of Magicmind, the October 2023 class. Everything you need to know is in the show notes below under tiffanychung.co/magicmind. And this is truly the highest container where I give the most support to. This is my business coaching container for spirit-led coaches and those who want to create consistent and increasing revenue in their business, who are really ready to take things to the next level, to be mentored by me, be in an engaged room of other coaches who are also looking for those same goals. We are going to eliminate anything that's standing between you and that next level version of you, that next money milestone, that next season in your business that you want to step into, whether that's hitting consistent 5K months or 10K months. Maybe it's launching a group program, or it is selling out your one-on-one offers. Whatever that might look like for you in your business, we're going to create it together by focusing on your beliefs, your marketing, your sales, and showing up in your business as a leader. If you feel the pull, I invite you to apply. The direct link to the application is in the show notes right now, so you can click on it. I would set some time aside, really spend some time with these questions. They're going to activate something within you, and we'll jump on a sales call. If you're the right fit, I'll let you know. We'll make a decision together, and you'll join us in the October 2023 class. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram at tiffanychung.co. Other than that, enjoy this incredible episode. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to call number 4, last call of 10K Anyway. Thank you to everyone who's been watching the replays and who have been jumping on live. I recognize a lot of faces week after week, which makes me so happy. And some of what you've been sharing with me, either in the DMs or in the Facebook group, that this has been really helpful for you and where you're at in your business and what you're looking to achieve. Some of you have mentioned like the way that you show up online feels different. The way your energy feels around money feels different. So it's been amazing to hear all of these wins. I also want to let you all know that the official enrollment for Magicmind is open today. So it's actually open this week. So from Monday to Friday, you have the time to get your application in and join us for the Magicmind October 2023 class. So talked a bit about Magicmind. I'm going to put the link in the chat and you have access to it in the Facebook group as well. But Magicmind is my small group business coaching mastermind. And what we focus on, the main purposes are your thoughts and your beliefs, right? A big chunk of this, I would say the majority of entrepreneurship in your business is what's happening up here, right? What are you thinking? What are you choosing to believe? How are you approaching your own energy as a leader when you step up into your business, right? So we work on decolonizing your mind. Now, when I say the word decolonizing, it just means that we've grown up in a society that's fed us a lot of shit. Okay. We have been taught lots of rules that are outdated, that are patriarchal, that are capitalistic, that do not serve our soul aligned, values driven business. Like if you're here, if you're in my world, you care a lot about your people. You care a lot about the work you're doing in the world. You believe that this is your purpose. You are connected to it on a level that is deeper than just, oh, this is something I should do to make money, right? Like you are here because you have this fire, you have this passion, you have this magic that you believe your people need. Okay. So in order to release that, we have to do that decolonization, deconditioning work in order to step into what do I want to believe? What do I want to create? What are the thoughts I want to believe about my clients, about my community, about my offer? So unnecessary. And we're also going to go into what are you going to decide as a clear, repeatable marketing plan. Right. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. So you get a good taste of it. I'm really excited for you to walk away, all of you to walk away from today's call feeling like, okay, I know how to market. I know what to say. We'll coach on it. Right. So a clear, repeatable marketing plan. Keeping it simple, right? Again, keep it simple, keep it clear. And then your sales process. How are you approaching sales in a way that's connected to your values, right? So we've all experienced on some level sales that feel kind of icky and feel kind of gross and feel like, I don't love that. I don't know what it is about that feels off. We are going to create a very consensual, liberated, empowered way of selling to our people that feels good on both ends. Okay. So no more white bro, frat bro marketing and sales. You're going to show up in a way that's actually aligned to your spirit-led business as a woman of color, right? This is going to be really important to you and the work that you're doing. So that's what we do in Magicmind. We do 5 months together in a cohort where we meet 3 times a month. And we focus on this work in a very zoomed in way, right? I'm in your corner, in your business. We're working on this together. You're coaching on it. You have a Slack group in between calls where you bring celebrations and you also bring any obstacles and anything you want coaching on, right? So if you're someone who's like, yeah, I would do really well in a community with other coaches who are also looking for the same things I'm looking for, who are also building businesses that are also doing launches and also selling, and you believe that you would be able to contribute and you would be able to be in a headspace where you can engage with one another, this is a really great opportunity, a really great container. This is going to be last launch of the year. So I'm not doing another launch. The next round is going to be for April of next year. So if you want to finish out this year and start 2024 with a very clear, dedicated way of showing up in your business, with my support, with coaching, with mentorship, then I invite you to apply today. And again, deadline closes for this round Friday, September 1st. So after September 1st, we're done. We're locked up. We're moving into the round. We're planning for the in-person 3-day event here in Oakland. And yeah, I cannot wait to have you all. All right, so I will leave the link to the main page for Magicmind. If you want to save it, I mean, you've also had an email that was sent out to you. It'll also be in the link in my bio, so you definitely won't be able to miss it. But I will grab you the direct link for the application as well. Let me copy and paste it really quick, and then we can get started. Okay. And then if you have any questions on Magicmind, happy to answer them in the chat. Or if you want to coach on them towards the end of the call, happy to do that as well. And I would say to anyone who's like on the fence to joining or on the fence of applying, I would say get your application in, anyway. Just answering the questions will give you a lot of clarity on what you're looking for. If this container is for you, we'll jump on a sales call again, like afterwards. So we'll talk about it even more. And we'll come to a decision together on whether this is the next right fit for your business. I'll let you know if it's not a good fit based on what you're looking for in your business goals versus what the container does. But if it's a good fit, I will invite you in. We'll have that conversation. Okay. So just to let you know, if you're on the fence, I would just apply anyway. I would listen to your gut. I would just see what answers come through those the application questions, because they're really, really good ones. All right. All right, let's talk about marketing. So we have so many thoughts about the way that we show up and market to our people. And I think a lot of us think that it needs to be this really complicated plan, or this plan that has so many different steps, and you worry about what you need to say in order to draw in the right people, or am I saying the right thing, or do my people even know that like this is what I have to offer? I feel like we have so many thoughts around creating content and marketing that it clouds what marketing actually is. And what marketing actually is just you showing up and serving your people. That's it, right? Just you showing up and helping your people. And the way that you do this is through understanding that there's no wrong way to market. There are just wrong ways that might be wrong for your specific business, right? So the way that I'm going to work through this with my students inside Magicmind is we're going to make decisions on how you're marketing, on what platforms you're marketing, and we're also going to make decisions on what you're not doing in your marketing, right? So that way you're not going back and forth and going, should I be on TikTok? Should I not be on TikTok? Should I start a YouTube channel and focus all my attention on that? Or should I start this? Like, you're going to create decisions and you're going to stick to them and you're going to evaluate them, right? You're also going to continue doing what's working. So a lot of us, we have already played around with ways in which marketing has been working for us, right? So sticking to what's working, allowing that to kind of speak for itself, and also identifying your strengths when it comes to marketing so you can funnel that into a launch plan. When you do a launch in the future, right, you're going to have evaluations based on what's already worked in the past. And bring that into a launch strategy, right? So if you know that showing up live on Instagram or doing live webinars and speaking is something that automatically attracts your aligned people, if that's something that connects you to your people, that's something you want to bring into your launch plan. It's something that you want to bring into something that you do in the future, right? So if you end up running a funnel in the future, or if you end up doing different type of resources, like, if showing up on live video is going to be the thing that attracts your people, like, you might do a free live masterclass that you put on replay and have that as a freebie that people download and get to access and get to learn a little bit more about you, right? So a lot about marketing is just testing, okay, what feels good for your energy to show up, right? We all, by this point, know a bit about our human design. We know a bit of our astrology. We have been testing the waters, right? We know how our energy is. So choose what's simple. Don't go against your energy. If you feel like there's something that just takes so long for you, like, for example, I have a friend who like started a podcast, and I actually have a couple of friends who've started podcasts and then realized, oh, this is a lot more work than I realized it would be. And their thought process and their recording podcasts and sitting down and having to outline everything takes a lot of time for them. And like, some of my friends will specifically ask me, like, how are you so consistent on your weekly podcasts? How is it so easy for you to just like record? How long does it take you to outline your podcast? And I was like, what do you mean outline your podcasts? They're like, well, don't you like write out notes for every time you do an episode? I was like, no, I just turn on the mic and I just start talking. And they're like, wait, what? So there are some people who are able to just do things a lot more naturally. Like, for example, like, I don't really have to have notes. I don't really have to prepare like outlines. I am a really I've practiced my channeling abilities for so long that I already know what I want to say, and I just turn on the mic and I say it. Um but there are some people who either they haven't worked on that yet, or it just in this season of their business and their life just takes too much time. So podcasting might not be the main priority in their marketing plan, as easy as it might be to say, write out a long form caption. Maybe for them, that takes like 10-15 minutes tops. So I would have them focus on that instead, because in their energy, it is a little bit easier. And then the other thing I want you to think about is environments. Okay. If you're familiar with your human design, you have like specific, locations where your energy is kind of the most potent, depending on I forget all of them, but there's one for me that like allows me, okay, I'm not going to go too much into human design, but I just know that if I'm in a specific environment, I it activates certain powers within me. So I know that I am the most energized when I've done certain things, or when I am in certain locations. So for example, if I know I really want to create content and I'm staring at my laptop sitting at my office, it doesn't help me. Like sitting here and trying to like create something rarely works for me. I have to be outside. I have to be either like at the gym on the treadmill taking notes. I have to be on a walk at the park. I have to have my bare feet on the grass. Right. There are certain, sometimes even sitting in the car, like I need to be out of this specific area of my house, because there's pressure. I'm overthinking, I'm distracted, I have crazy ADHD. I literally, yeah, it's just my brain is like 600 tabs open at the same time. So I know that there are specific things and environments that will energize me and that will jog my creativity. So if I know that if I want to create content, but I'm sitting at my office, I haven't really gotten a lot of sleep, and it's like, the environment is just not optimal, I'm not going to force myself to create content in that way. I'm going to do it in the way that I am most like I'm at my most optimal state, right? I think sometimes we forget that and we think like I have to get something out, or I should be able to do it here because of blah blah blah, and then we shame ourselves for it, and the content doesn't even come out, and like it doesn't even hit, because it's like, well, we did it in this environment that wasn't even that optimal for us, right? So those are a couple things to think about if you haven't thought about them before, is your energy, what actually, and then what are some things that might energize you before you jump into creating content. So for me, it's moving my body in some way, right? You all have seen me, like I love my dance classes. I love, like, even if it's just going for a walk or just like shaking it out, or just turning on some music in the living room here in front of the mirror and just like flowy, just doing some ecstatic movements, right? Like those are things that get me energized and activated. Like things are moving in my body. I feel good. I'm tapped into my pleasure. I'm connected to my sacral chakra, right? Like those are things that I know immediately make me feel, okay, I feel good, right? And I don't have to do that every single time, but I know that if there's something I can go and do that'll get me more in the zone, I will do it. I will help myself to do it, right? I've done a lot of this for so long, and I've created such a devotion to creating content that I don't have to do it in such a structured way like this anymore. It just kind of flows. But if you're not in that flow state yet with your marketing, then I invite you, and maybe just to switch things up and see like, okay, would this help? Would going here help? Would doing this thing help? Right? You want to kind of play with it, because again, creating content is so personal, and it's such an intimate process, because you're literally bringing forth things that are already in your body, right? And I'm going to teach you a method on how I teach my Magicmind students to do it. It literally is an exercise of bringing forth what's already within you. And if you're not in the right energy, you're not in the right environment, it can sometimes be hard to force those things out of you, versus just letting it flow, right? Um Okay. Yes, Chanel said I have to be in the shower, or yeah, shower thoughts are so powerful. Yeah, Taylor said this is so powerful. Yeah, Sasha said the shower is such a good download place. It really is. Um, yes, Annette said I got to take a walk before my brain has to leave the house to work. Yeah, I have never related to anything so hard. Okay, beautiful. So yeah, that's something you really want to decide. Like if there was a rule that is running in your brain that's like, but I have to do it this way, I have to structure it this way, I have to create content this way, I have to batch content or whatever it is, like I want you to give yourself permission to let that go. Okay? That's why like there's no, I always say there's no one right way to do this. It's just the one right way for you, or not even one, like the way that is right for you, right? One of the ways that's right for you. Because we are all such different energies, right? That's why there's not one business plan that works. They all work, but what works for you, right? All the marketing strategies work, but what works for you? That's what I work on with my students inside Magicmind is like, yeah, they've done the strategies. They know the strategies. Let's create the one that works for your business in this season of your business, because that could even change. Like my strategies and my plan in my business has shifted a lot since I first started my business. What worked for me then isn't working for me now. Right. And maybe some things are, but some things aren't. I'm evolving. My business is evolving. The clients I serve and the way that I serve them is different. I used to do solely one-on-one clients. So the way that I would market, the things that I would do, the ways that I would reach out to people is very different than right now. I only serve two groups, Magicmind and my fundamental course, Business Activation Academy. Right. So the way that I approach marketing and my marketing plan and my business plan is very different. Okay. So you want to honor what makes the most sense for your season of business and the way you want to market aligned to your energy, not just what someone else says works. You want to test it and evaluate it for your energy, right? This is really important. It's not just like, this is very hierarchical, where we just kind of, oh, I should just take what this guru says because they're super successful and like, wash it over what I genuinely want to do in my business or what I want to try and just like take that on as mine, right? Like you want to be able to listen to your own magic. You want to be able to listen to your own inner guidance, right? Because that's really, really, really important in your business, okay? So I'm going to quickly touch on, because I really do want to jump into some coaching around this. But I do want to break down a method that I am teaching my Magicmind students. Moving forward, this round, we're really, really going to dive deeper into this, and it's going to impact both your marketing and your sales. So this is a way of thinking about your clients in a way that is so powerful and really led by exactly what they need and exactly what is going to create sustainable long-term solutions for your clients, right? So essentially, this is the secret to drawing them in and getting them results. Okay. So it works both in a marketing plan and on sales calls when you're converting your paid clients. Okay. So I'm calling this the embodied method, and this is what it looks like. There are a couple of steps. So number one is identifying where they want to elevate into, right? So there is a reason, there's an experience, there's a situation, there is an issue, depending on who you're serving, right? They're going to say it in a specific way. So this is, again, this whole thing, something that you need to test and take action on, right? Because your ideal client might not see it as a problem. They might not even recognize there's a problem, right? And it might actually not even be an issue, right? Like for example, like when I invest in masterminds now, I'm not necessarily having a problem. So if someone is talking to me like I have a problem, I'm probably going to tune them out, right? I'm not looking for someone to solve a problem. I know what's happening in my business at all times. I'm looking to join a mastermind for different reasons. So unless someone speaks to me for those specific reasons, I'm not joining. Right. So, but there are some people, like when I was looking for therapy as a postpartum mom who was struggling with postpartum depression, I had a problem. Right. I was in an abusive, toxic relationship. I had a bunch of self-harming tendencies. I didn't know how to be there for my child, and I was having trigger warning, suicidal ideations. Right. I had a lot of problems. Had panic attacks, anxiety attacks. Those were problems in my life. And I identified with someone telling me, hey, I can help you solve these problems. And I invested in therapists because they were able to help me with those problems, because those were things that I needed help with. Right. So you want to know your aligned clients so well that they are describing it in a specific way that aligns to them. Like, you want to understand the language that they're using in that season of their life, right? And in order to do that, you want to have conversations and really identify and go back into all of your coaching calls. I used to go back into my coaching calls. I still do. But I used to do this like so often when I was a brand new coach. I would go through the recordings. I would turn them into transcripts, right? I would like go through every single, okay, I would write down, I would have a running list of all the things that my clients needed coaching on. And I would just have a list of them. And I would identify like, okay, how can I speak to this? How can I create more long-term solutions for this? How do I prevent this? Right? Like, what can I do about this? Like, it was literally me like like putting on like a doctor hat and like looking at symptoms and going, okay, what are my people coming to me for? Right? Like, I had such a zoomed in energy that I really understood, where is this coming from? Okay. And then from there, what is that ultimate? I'm calling it, in Magicmind, we're calling it an integration framework. So how are you integrating? What is your integration framework? What are you helping your students to integrate in their life? And I love the word integrate, because it isn't just like a, like, and here's maybe how you want to look at it. Like, you have a, like, so if they do have something that they're looking to create, you have a solution for them. You have a, hey, this is what I can offer you. Is this the thing you want? Right? Like, people buy because you have a solution that scratches their particular itch, right? So it's like, hey, this is a solution. Do you want this solution? Does this solution sound like something that feels good to you right now? Okay. So that's the solution. And then your integration framework is how you help them integrate that into their life, right? Into their body, into this season of where they are. How are you helping them integrate this? And this is your framework. Now, it doesn't have to be, okay, well, first, for the first 3 weeks, we do like phase 1, and then we do phase it could look like that, but it could also just be, the way I work with my students is I sit down and I have a onboarding call, and I really understand exactly where they're at right now and what they'd like to achieve. Like, why are they here right now? What are they looking for? Right. So we really deep dive, and then I have them set goals, right? I make sure that I'm hearing their goals and I'm really understanding what they want to achieve from where they are. And then having them understand like what it might take for me to help them get there. And then we have 12 sessions that focus on helping them get closer to those goals. In the middle, I do a check-in. We also do this and that, et cetera, right? That can be your process. It doesn't have to be some cold, hard structure with modules and all of these things in order for it to work, right? So your process, your framework can just be, hey, this is how I work with my students. And an important thing to understand here is that a lot of times your people might think they know the solution, but your actual solution, your long-term sustainable process, looks a little different. So this is where you have to sell them on it and explain to them, hey, I know you're looking for this and it might be a band-aid solution, it might be a temporary solution, it might be what they think is the solution. You have to sell them on how your integration framework is the solution, right? Like you have to be so convicted, which is why I talk a lot about conviction and calmness and confidence in your coaching. Like you have to be so convicted and clear that this is what you offer your people, and this is why it works for your most aligned client, of course, right? Like we're always assuming that we're speaking to the person who would get the best transformation out of this, the person who would be the most, the most resourceful, the most committed to this process. Like we're speaking to that person, right? So you really want to identify, okay, again, this goes back to the client language and the client brain. How do they think about their issue? How do they think they want to solve it? Because again, you're the coach. They don't know this because they are not in the coaching world most of the time, right? They only know their limited perception, and it might be skewed based on what they've been told from family, friends who are still not coaches, right? You are the expert. You're the coach. You know more than them in the aspect of this specific experience because you've coached other people, right? And of course, you can always guide them back to their own inner guidance, but there is a level of information that you probably know that they may not know, that you might think is like, oh yeah, well, everyone knows that. But it's like, no, everyone doesn't know that, right? And your client that wants to work with you, like this could save their life. Like literally, legitimately save their life. I'm not even being dramatic. Right? So this is how you have to view your work, your magic, your offer, and go to work discovering how your people respond, think, express. How do they express this? If they were to tell their best friend, call them on the phone, be like, ugh, this is what's happening, blah, 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 blah. What would they say? What words would come out of their mouth? Right? And if you're not clear on this, then that's the work that you have to do. Okay. Sasha asked you make a point of sharing the problem versus the solution that you offer on posts, live, social media marketing. Yeah, I do. Sometimes I just focus specifically. I speak. So the way I do it is I speak to the person using the language that would immediately like help them to self-select, right? So there's certain language that I use that immediately attracts a certain type of person into my world. Like I've done this work for so long that like every single person who's in here, all of my students in Magicmind, like all the people that I attract, they're a certain type of person that I want to work with. And I've done that because I've done so much work understanding, okay, how do my most aligned clients respond and want to be spoken to, and what are some of the verbiage that I can use, and a lot of it is also just me using my own language that feels good to me without me having to like polish it up. So like there is just a natural way that I speak based on the people I want to work with that I think would be a dream to work with, and there are people that just respond to that, and they're naturally my most aligned people. Now, of course, I also pair that with language that helps people identify not just, oh, this person is cool to be around, but also, oh, Tiffany can actually help me with this specific thing. Right. So I also identify like, okay, this is where I see you. This is where I see you right now in your business. I know this is happening. I know this is happening because this is happening. I know that is also happening, but that doesn't have to happen. And here's what we can do about it. So the way I do it is I understand so clearly what's happening in their day-to-day, because I've been there. I'm constantly coaching my students on it. I'm constantly thinking about it. So I know very detailed things about what's likely happening in their business that make them go, wait, how do you know that? Like, how do you know that about me? Right. And it's just because I've done so much work and I've coached so many students on this, right? That I just know. I can give it a good guess. Right. And that's how they self-select. And then I offer this sustainable solution that's like, hey, this is the thing that is going to help solve where you're at right now. And here's why. This is how it's worked for other people. This is why it's not just a one-size-fits-all solution. We're going to customize it to your unique business and your unique energy. So it's literally made for you. That is what my coaching does. I'm not giving you this blanket thing and going, all right, here, solve it, figure it out, right? No, we're working together with your energy intertwined to make sure that your business grows and creates results based on your energy, your vision, your goals, your audience, understanding your client's brain, right? This is how we're going to do it. And we also do it through decolonization work and understanding your magic and stepping into your energy as a leader, right? And so if those things stand out to them through my content, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, I want to do this. If someone hears that and goes, okay, that's not what I'm looking for, like they're still looking for a short-term solution or some band-aid solution, then they're clearly not my ideal client anyway. And they might all like loop back around and be like, okay, I'm ready to do this work now, but I wasn't before, right? So that's kind of how I approach it in my marketing. Okay, so I got through integration framework, and then the last step or the last two steps is the embodiment, right? So this is the embodied method. The last step is the embodiment, right? Like what does your client embody when they're done working with you? Either when they're done with the container or when they're done with the first 6 months, right? Like what do they achieve in their life? What is possible for them now? Right? And how does this impact other areas of their life as well? When this is so clear to you and you have a very clear distinction on exactly how powerful this is, like for the health coach, right? It isn't just them fixing specific issues in like their gut, for example, right? It is them also being able to, you know, eat certain foods again, or it's freedom in like the kitchen or going out to specific restaurants, right? It's like, yeah, like whatever. It's also opening up like relationships with their friends and their family because they're not feeling a certain level of shame or like blocking themselves from like going out in, you know, in like social settings or whatever it might be, right? Like for the coach who coaches on confidence, it isn't just like asking for that raise at work or feeling like they know themselves a little more stepping into a room. It's also the way that they end up meeting their future partner. It's the way that they end up attracting their aligned friend group, right? It's like it affects every single impact like area of their life. And you have to think about it in that way because that's also how you have to sell them on it. Right? Like they're not thinking about that. They're just thinking about, okay, well, here's the thing that I have, not really that big of an issue. You want your people to be like, oh, I want to work on this today. Today, I want to sign up today. Right? Like you want them to see how clearly how important this work is. Because if you don't see that, they're always going to get maybe later energy. That's what I call it in Magicmind is maybe later energy. Right? Like they're always just gonna be like, yeah, maybe later. Okay, yeah, that sounds great, but yeah, maybe later. Not important. Like I gotta fix up the house first. I gotta get the kids. I gotta do blah 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 blah. Maybe later. Okay, yeah. You have to sell them on why this is such a priority for them. Right? And then maybe they still don't see it as a priority, and that's okay. But the people who recognize, oh, wait, no, I do want this. I do want this, and I didn't realize how it was also connected to this. And oh, I also do this, but I didn't know it was connected to that, right? You want to help them realize how everything in our lives are always connected. And the work you're doing is so important, right? That sometimes they're so tunnel vision that they don't realize that how big of an issue this is, right? Like they just don't see it because they've just been so focused on other things in their life, or they've just become so used to it that they're like, oh, it's just not a problem. Like, I'm sure we can look at our parents and see the things that they do or the actions that they take that they're just like, oh, but I've always done it this way. But like, no, that's not a great answer for the things that you do though, right? Like they don't see it as a priority, and they might never, right? Um, but if they did, and if they were willing to shift that, wow, what would change in their life? What would open up for them? Right. And, like, yeah, our parents are a different story because, like, so much emotion wrapped up in like wanting them to be, people who do things maybe differently or whatnot. But that's just an example, right? Like, our clients also have ways of showing up in their life that it could be so helpful if you were to help them see specific things, right? So the last piece I want to share is this is the method in which I am always thinking about when I'm creating content. So when I show up in market, I never have to go, what's some brand new idea I have to think about to share with my people? Sometimes it is like a new metaphor or a new way of spinning something or a new perspective, but it always comes back to this embodied method. It always comes back to, what are they looking for right now? How can I serve them? What is the integration framework that I can teach them to do it? How can I talk about it in very direct language? Right? In like very, very direct, clear, no fluff language. How can I show them that this is a priority in their life? Right? How does this impact other areas of their life? So whenever I create content, I'm not going, what do I say? I'm always thinking about my clients. I will create content in my brain while I'm sleeping, because I'm just always thinking about my clients. I'm always thinking, how can I get them better, faster results? How can I serve them in a different way, right? If a specific client is coming up with a specific obstacle, how can I help the specific client navigate this specific thing? I'm always thinking about it. My brain is always doing that. Right? I have like pages, I have folders on my clients, and I used to do this like very, very diligently. Now I can do it more so in my head. But I used to write out like, okay, this is what they came up with in this coaching session, and I'll think about it and I'll go back to them and be like, hey, I thought of something that would be really useful for you. Here's it, blah, 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 blah. And then I might create a content post on it as well, because it might serve someone else. And someone else might be like, oh my gosh, they read my mind. How does she know I'm dealing with that? But I didn't know I was speaking to a specific client in a specific container of mine, right? But it just so happened to serve this other person who watches my stories, and then they decide to hire me, right? So when you're always like in that pocket, in that bubble of thinking about your clients, thinking about what they're looking for, thinking about that integrated framework, right? You're really thinking about the way you're serving them, the way you're helping them integrate this into their life. You never run out of content. It always baffles me when people come to me and they're like, well, how do you know what to post? And what do you post on? It's like, you're always coming back to those things, right? You are not having to be an entertainer or an influencer on your page. You are a business owner. You are a coach. What do you coach on? How do you serve your people? It should always come back to this method. Okay. All right. Let's coach on marketing. Let's coach on what's coming up for you. If you want to raise your hand, I will bring people up. And if you want to use the chat, you can do that as well. So you can just type in any questions that you might have in the chat. Also, before I get into coaching you all, if you are applying to Magicmind today, I'm going to extend that VIP day until tonight. So for those who are like, yes, I want to get in, I want to apply, all you have to do is apply. I won't have to jump on the sales call just yet. We'll schedule that if you're accepted. But if you're accepted, I will grant the VIP day bonus for you. And the VIP day will take place in mid-September. We'll find a date that works well for everybody. And we're going to coach. We're going to do some deep diving into this embodied method and your messaging, and make decisions on your offer. Okay, so by the time we jump into the mastermind and we do the 3-day event, and we work, you already have all of these decisions that you've made. I was just thinking about this earlier, and money always comes when decisions are made. Always, always, right? Indecision is what blocks money. This is just money energetics, right? Indecision is like, I don't know, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, I'm not sure. When you make decisions, money flows your way, right? So whether that is a yes or a no, whether that is I'm going to market this way, I'm not going to market that way, right? I'm going to join this program or I'm not going to join this program, right? But the indecision, you are not some grass flowing in the wind, all right? Money comes when decisions are made. So ask yourself where you need to make decisions in your business. And I would invite you to decide today on whether or not you're joining Magicmind or whether or not you're applying, right? Because we still jump on a sales call. We'll make the best decision for your business. Again, I don't want anyone in the container who isn't a great fit for it. So if you're really not a good fit, I'll let you know. But if you are a great fit, I will let you know. I will invite you in, and you will be stretched. You will be challenged in this container, and it'll be the best thing that you do in your business. Okay. And it'll be very focused on exactly what you need in this season of your business. So again, I will have the link here for the application form. I will be reviewing them each day at the end of the day. So I'll probably email you within like 24 hours if you are accepted. So just look out for your email. We'll jump on a sales call together and we'll make a decision on whether or not you're meant to be in this round. Okay. All right, let's do some coaching. Inez, is that how you pronounce your name?
It's similar. It's Inish, but the way you're saying it is good too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for these 4 weeks. That has been amazing. I've been watching the replays. One thing that I noticed because of the things that you've been coaching us on is that I often, in my marketing, it was my automatic response to not assume the person that I'm talking to is already convinced they want to work. And so I noticed that I would always invite people saying, if this is for you, blah, 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 invite them after that. And then I realized, wait, but then I am not assuming the person already wants this. I'm still saying, like, you have to think about it.
Yeah.
You have to feel about it. Yeah. So.
Right. I think that's a really great breakthrough, because now you get to show up with your marketing with like fully done energy. People who are like, I already want to work with you, right? Like they've already decided like she's the coach for me, right? Like think about how much more powerful your marketing is when you speak to people who are all yeses across the board. Like, isn't that so much more calm? Like, I don't ever feel the need to like, okay, everyone, like, this is what you have and this is what you get. And this is why you should join. And now I have to convince them and I have to say all these things. It's like, I'm very calm in my energy. So I'm already speaking to people who are yeses. And the people who are no's, like, I'm not thinking about them. They're not in my brain. Like, I don't spend any energy there because I'm speaking only to the people who are yeses, right? I'm speaking to like them as if they've already like decided. They just haven't jumped in yet.
Yeah, and I have been experimenting doing that, and I have to admit it's a little bit uncomfortable. Already like assuming someone, because like, of course, like being like, it's such a different energy. And I think a part of me is still like getting used to being in that space, and then being like, what if someone who is not a yes hears this and then feels FOMO or feels pressured. I wonder what you have to say about that, and maybe they'll just like feel pressured and then unfollow me, which will be great. Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's still like spending time thinking, like, is that an aligned client for you? Someone who thinks that way?
No. Yeah.
I mean, probably not, right? Like, you probably don't, it's probably not going to make, it's not going to make any strides in your business or in your marketing thinking about what they're thinking about. Right? Like, people are going to make decisions all the time seeing your marketing, and you cannot account for every single one of them. And then, like, it's either attempting to please them or attempting to figure out how they're going to feel, right? Like, people are going to feel how they feel, right? About your marketing. So what? You are speaking to your most aligned people, and the most aligned people are going to be like, yes, I'm in. And the people who aren't, who feel either FOMO or whatever it is, they can see themselves out. They can coach themselves on it. They can come back and decide that they're an aligned client later on. But that's not your job. It's not your responsibility.
Right. It's still people pleasing.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
what if they feel that way? So what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that really helps. I'm like removing them from my brain, because that's not why I'm even doing this. They
Right.
can.
Because if you're always speaking to people who are on the fence, if you're always speaking to people who need convincing, if you always speak to people who are kind of a no or need to be pressured in, like, you're always going to spend your time having to convince them. You're always going to, it's going to be hustle energy all the time, right? It's going to be like, oh my God, like, how can I show up today and convince people? Like, imagine if I went through this whole Magicmind launch every single day going, oh my God, I have to get on this call and convince all these people. I have to get on this Zoom. I have to get on my stories. And then what is the thing I need to say? Like, you all can see that, like, I'm not in that energy, and I'm very calm, and I'm very chilled out, because I just trust my aligned clients so well. I've created so much demand. My launch week is just scooping up that demand. I literally have a line out the door, and I'm just literally opening the door. Like, I'm just opening the, like, hey, all right, you can come in now. Hey, like, this is what we're doing now. This is what we're doing this week. Like, if you want to be in here, cool. If you don't want to be in here, I don't want to convince you, because I don't want to work with people I would have to convince. I want my people to be like, hey, that's for me. I want to be in there. And I'll be like, yeah, all right, let's go. Like, let's do this work together. Right? It's a very much a, this is what we're doing in here. Do you want to be in here? If you want to be in here and do this work with me, let's do it. Like, I want to take your hand and let's go. Let's do it. Right? But if someone is like, I don't know if it's for me, blah, blah, blah. Like, I might jump on a sales call with them, like, if that's something that they want to talk through. But if it's not someone who's in that, like, yes energy, that's not where I want to spend my time. Because I want to spend my time with the people who are like, yes, I'm already in. Yes, of course I want to be in this container. Right? And because I spend so much time with those clients and in that energy, those are the people that I speak to and attract, right? It's like a no-brainer, because that's where I spend all my energy, where your intention is being put in is what grows, right? It's what evolves. It's what ends up thriving, because you spend your intention, your energy there. So that's all you have to do.
Thank you so much. I also realized as you were talking that me talking to the people who are not in,
Yeah.
or like me talking to the people who are on the fence is me not talking to the people who are in. So they're like, when are you going to talk with me? I'm waiting.
Yes, exactly. That's such a good realization, right? It's like the people who are already a yes, they're kind of like, wait, but we're already ready. Like, what about us? Like, I'm ready to join. Let's go. Right? Like,
Yeah.
imagine if I showed up in like super convincing energy, and all the people who were already deciding to be in my container are like, wait, that's weird, right? Like, you just have to switch. Like I always say that it's just misplaced. You just put your energy and attention here. Let's just bring it back over here. Right? This is where your people are. Just speak to them. That's all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
You're so welcome. And for anyone else who's working on this, like I would identify even like a specific person, like a specific client that you've worked with who you think of was just like, oh my God, it was just a dream to coach with them. It was just a dream to work with them. They were so, coachable, and we created incredible results together. This is the type of person I would love to keep working with in the future, right? Like if you are having trouble placing your like yes people, think about a specific person that you've already worked with and speak to that person directly. Okay. And it'll really help you create content and be in that energy until you can kind of do it without having to think about someone. But it really helps sometimes to think about one specific person, or even creating someone in your head who's like, okay, this is a person I'd really love to work with. They get really great results from our work together. I'm going to keep speaking to this person and give them a backstory or whatever that is that's going to help you create content, right? It'll also help you to be really, really direct instead of like vague, fluffy language. Like, hey, I'm going to help you live your best life, or I'm going to help you to like reclaim your power and take your power back, or whatever. It's like, what do those words specifically mean? You want to get really clear on that. And when you're thinking of a specific person, and when you're thinking about a specific issue, a specific solution, and your framework to help that, like it's very direct. Right? That's why the embodied method works so well, is because you are speaking directly to those things, and there's no room for confusion or someone to misconstrue what you're saying. Even though, like, sure, that still might happen, but for the most part, if it's very direct and laid out, your people are going to be like, oh, wow, like that's so clear. That's exactly what I need. Or for someone to be like, oh, that's not what I need, right? So people making decisions with your content is always a good thing, right? Unsubscribes, unfollows, always a good thing. Just means that you're being really, really clear. That's what we want. Okay. All right. Does anyone else have anything that they would like coaching on regarding their messaging marketing? I think there was a question actually in the chat. Okay, let me read some of these. Taylor said, I'm so happy to join this call today, planning a huge launch and to solidify that I'm on the right path. Yay. It took a ridiculous amount of notes, said 1,000 downloads. Yay, love you too. Okay, beautiful. I tend to get stuck with my messaging. Sometimes I get it right. Sometimes it's like, whoa, people are getting what I'm saying. And then I freak out a little bit and subconsciously revert to how I see other people doing it. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's also just a lot of noise around how you should market, or like the right way to market online, that it takes us out of our own guidance and magic when it comes to our way of marketing, right? Like I've done that too in the past, where I'm like, oh, someone says that in order to be successful, you have to do it this way. And I'll be like, oh my God. And I make myself wrong. How often do we make ourselves wrong? Like, honestly, how often do we make ourselves wrong in our own business? Right. This is why I always, when in my marketing, I always use the word spirit led. Sometimes I'll use spiritual, or I'll use the words like values driven, or like heart centered, like people who are very serious about doing work that is connected to their spirit and their soul's purpose, because they realize that they're not just here to create some copy and paste carbon copy business or strategy. They're here to create something that works for their own business, for their own energy, for their own audience, right? And so even if we see someone else doing it a different way, or we're being told we need to do it a different way from someone else, we still get to come back to, oh no, but this is what works for me, right? That's the most powerful thing. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. Anything else before I let you all go? If that is it, thank you all so much for being on these calls. These calls have been so much fun. It's been really, really amazing being able to guide all of you through these past 4 weeks, this whole month of coaching. And again, I invite you all to apply to Magicmind if you feel the nudge, if you feel that intuitive hit of like, okay, I feel like I'm really meant to be in that container. Feel like I'm meant to be mentored by Tiffany and I want to be in that community. I invite you to apply. We'll jump on a sales call together. We'll talk more about your decision. And if you get your application in by tonight, I will honor that group VIP day bonus. So you'll be able to join us for the strategic planning, messaging. We'll work on your embodied method, just like I talked about on this call. I'd love to have you in the container. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'll have the link I shared in for the application is in the chat. And it'll also be in the link in my bio. It'll also be in the Facebook group. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Other than that, I will see you all soon. I'll see you in the Facebook group. And yeah, thank you all for being here. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.